Welcome to this edition of Wednesday's Preeminence Posse Powwow. The Preeminence Posse are a group of transformational leaders, feminine transformational leaders. They are part of the highly acclaimed Preeminence, House of Preeminence magazine. I am your host, Jenny P., the founder of House of Preeminence, and I am going to introduce you shortly. Today, the theme is the new woo and why it's so you. So you might have been seeing some really crazy things going on in the world at the moment, and you might have been feeling the call to step up. If you're a woman whose heart beats for what's going on in the world, you will surely have looked around and felt that you wanted to do more, to be more, to be more active, but always living your highest life. So we are going to bring some perspective on that today. We are here to support you and champion you. I have three of my gorgeous posse today, each one a world-class change maker in their own way. We have the conscious wealth coach, our resident money chick, Karen Baines from Essex, England.
Hello, lovelies.
We have from California, Liana Shauli, Empress of Style, couturier, transformational leader of transformational coach of women's inside as well as their outside. And we have the gorgeous aromatic alchemist and catalyst for transformation, Alison Stillman. We are all pretty woo. Now, one thing I want to say is that if you're new to woo, what you may have noticed is in the last 5 to 10 years there has been a collision of the worlds of science and the worlds of spirituality, and they have come together and they have become one. They have become the same language. They have become the same vocabulary. The spiritual world has explained what goes on in science. The scientific world has explained to us our spiritual nature. And woo is no longer in the closet. So where that word came from was, I guess, about 10, 15 years ago, when woo referred to new age people as we were known, new age people whose ideas were a little bit outside of the mainstream, and we embraced the mystical and the holistic world. We are right slap bang in the middle of a paradigm where that is the world. So my ladies and myself are going to explore this a little bit and demonstrate for you why it is such a beautiful time for you to own your mystical nature and to show up as a fully holistic, integrated mind, body, soul change maker. So I'm going to kick off with our Babylicious in Essex, because she knows a lot about how the universe works. So, but she will explain it in a very grounded sense. So why don't you kick us off, Karen?
All right, then. Well, first of all, it wasn't that long ago. It was probably just over a couple of years ago that somebody accused me of being woo, and I was furious. I took it really personally because I just don't see myself as woo at all. And it kind of felt like a little bit like I was not being taken seriously, which wasn't the case. And I don't think it was their intention. But it was surprising to me how even then I feel like I just don't see what I do as woo, not at all. I see it as just being me, and I see it as a way of being. And as you mentioned, what I do in the world, I'm very proud that I ground it in really practical third dimensional ways for people. I like to think that I take the woo out of woo, really, so that it makes it accessible for people in their everyday lives. Because honestly, what I teach and obviously what I believe, is that you are creating every minute of every single day with every single choice that you make. You're doing it already. There's nothing woo about it. There really is nothing woo about it. So my response to anybody that kind of accuses me of that now or mentions that word around me is like, you're about as woo as I am, because that's who we are. We're all human and we all create in the same way. And there's really nothing woo about it. What I will say about kind of being in the closet in terms of being woo is that anybody who's kind of discovered their woo-ness, if you like, especially in the last couple of years, and who's being called to come out of the woo closet and express themselves in that way, especially if they're here and they're enjoying the House of Preeminence content and the Posse powwows and indeed the newly relaunched Facebook group. And if you're being called into that, you're being called to that by your very soul. And when you're being called to that by your very soul, you better step up and listen, because actually that's what's calling you forward right now. Your soul is calling you forward. It wants you to co-create with the universe right now so that you can create a whole new level of consciousness that the universe can experience itself through. And if you're being called to that now, that is you in alignment. That is you in your next level of alignment. And money is a happy byproduct of alignment, lovely. So if you're not in alignment and you're an entrepreneur, you ain't gonna make the bucks. So it's really important that if that woo part of you wants to come out and play now, you honor that, because that is your very soul that is speaking to you. And that's your next level calling.
You'd like to pick that up?
Yeah, I keep thinking about the word woo. And I keep thinking about how everyone that's here, everyone that reads this magazine, you're looking for the next level, or you wouldn't be here. You're being called, just like Karen said, you're being called or you wouldn't be here. And on any type of personal growth or evolution that is happening, and we can see it, it's in evidence in the world today, we are going through a massive evolution and upgrade as a society. Well, that's happening individually. And it's not always an easy ride. I will say that. And so if you've ever ridden a roller coaster, you go, woo, right? That's like, whoa, what's happening here? That's the word that comes out a lot of the time. So it's very similar. The ride to becoming a better version of yourself is a roller coaster ride, and it's not always comfortable. And you have to just be willing to stay with that level of uncertainty and not knowing and what's going to happen, and that the things that come along with it can sometimes just go, wait a minute, I don't know if I didn't really want this after all. Well, you're on a path of evolution, or as I said, you wouldn't be here, and you're wanting change, and you're wanting something different, you're wanting to grow, you're wanting more abundance, whatever it is in your life. Great, then let's make the change. Let's do it collectively together and support each other as we go through this evolution, because it is a birthing process. We're all birthing a whole different society here. And within each individual, we're birthing a new aspect of ourselves, and we're having to let go of things that no longer serve us. And that's not always comfortable. It really isn't. So I say, bring the woo. Yes, let's get on that ride together and go, woo!
Yeah. Wow. That's so great. So great, guys. This is all really good stuff. So woo, In California, we seem to do it double woo. It's not just the woo. I think that, well, what you said at the beginning, Jenny, was is true and profound. And, you know, the fact that science and spirituality are merging, and that each one of them is now supporting the other in what's actually really happening and what's true with a capital T, let's say. In my world, what's been really interesting is I used to say, I don't say it much anymore. I used to say I smuggle consciousness into bedrooms and boardrooms, one garment at a time. And I would have to smuggle, because telling people that image therapy is an emotional, spiritual, psychological framework that comes from the inside out, and that we just use clothing on the outside to kind of manifest and reflect what's on the inside, that was way too much for people to handle 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 20, even 15 years ago. You know, the name on the door was clothing and fashion and beauty, but what was behind the door was all the woo-woo. But people very, very quickly got, like in the first 3 minutes, oh my God, this is not about clothes. This is about something much more profound and much deeper. So I say this to all of you who are here, who are listening, and I say this with a lot of reverence for the path that we are all on, because we're all on a different path. And each and every one of us is going to come together with this truth. You know, Karen was saying, if your soul is calling you, I kind of say the same thing. It's just, we have to get really quiet to hear that silent voice, because it is so tender and so delicate. And so in my world, image therapy is just a process of being able to go inward. So we get to undress your spirit so we can dress your body. And undressing the spirit for many people is like, oh, this is too scary. It's too frightening. Yes, it's like Allison said, this is like a ride. It's a big, fancy, loud ride. And it's not going to come tepid. It's not going to be like, oh, let's just see if we can do this. I say to my students when we do a big event, I get to the edge of the stage and I say, are you willing to jump with me? Come on, let's lock hands and let's all jump together. And I think a lot of what's happening right now is that the world is doing that. We are, especially as women, and in the context of what we're all presenting, is we're all giving each other the opportunity to lock hands and jump into something that's unknown. Why is it unknown? Because the world has never been here before. Women have never been in this place where we've all stepped forward and stepped up and stepped out and sideways to support one another and lift while we're climbing. We've always been, you know, knocking each other down, allowing the situation to knock other people down. And now it's very different. So if anybody talks about woo-woo, I just go, you know what? I don't think there's anything woo-woo about supporting other women. I don't think there's anything woo-woo about being there for one another. We have done this for centuries. We have lived in tribes and collectives, and every child had 15 aunts and 10 grandmothers and 95 uncles. And, you know, it's now we're coming back to something that's very authentic and very grounded in the way we are being human. It's not like you can't do it. We all have it in us. We've had centuries of DNA that has done it. So for those of you who are listening and are watching this and are reading the magazine and you feel like this is pulling you towards something, it's because it's known to your soul. It's not new. It might have a different outfit on. The makeup might look different. The hair might look different. Yet the inner workings of our humanity, the collective of our humanity, is now starting to come back, because all the stuff and the money and the whatever, all that other stuff is starting to like trickle away, and the realness of our humanity is coming out. And so women's strength is a huge part of that. You know, it's been kind of kept quiet and the lid on it for so many centuries. And now it's like, let's just do it. You know, if someone doesn't like it, they don't have to be part of it. So for those of you feel the courage and feel the call, listen to your soul, like Karen says, and just come join us.
I was just reflecting on how 500 years ago we'd have all been burnt at the stake.
Yes, we were
Probably
white,
were.
white witches.
We were.
Even if Essex Babylicious says that she doesn't like being called woo, she'd have been burnt at the stake as well.
So Karen and I would have definitely been burned.
I was definitely burned many
Essex
times.
is actually a key. We've got a real history steeped in witchcraft in Essex, and I had no idea. And I was like, oh my God, that's why I'm still here. Never get out of this town.
So just to kind of bring this back to the our audience and our readers and our listeners and our group and the people we serve and support and help, is it is undeniable, and you mentioned it earlier on, Karen, about alignment, that we are not just on a material path here to make money. That is a happy byproduct, as Karen loves to say, but we are here to harmonize our mind, body, and spirit or soul, and take into account the fact that we are this three-faceted being. We are made up of three parts, and it is vital to acknowledge all of those three parts and bring them into harmony so they're not fighting with each other, because it is so common for our mind to be fighting with our actions, or our actions to be completely the opposite to what we're feeling. And those are all signs that somewhere mind, body, and soul are out of alignment. So all of the tools that we have now, the ones for which we would have been burnt at the stake 500 years ago, including crystals and herbs and essential oils and rituals and women's circles and all of those things, for me, are essential for women to not only step up to their soul's calling, but to really live their highest potential while they make the world a better place. Would you agree, ladies?
Yes,
Absolutely.
So let's go back to the money part, the money part of that, Karen, because I was not obviously dismissing the money. This is about alignment, and this is something that I really want holistic or spiritually minded or heart-led or soul-led change makers to hear, is that they don't have to sacrifice anything, and they don't have to be obliged to do anything. We can have it all, can't we?
We absolutely can. In fact, that's what we're designed for. We are designed to have it all. House of Preeminence predominantly serves entrepreneurs. You know, we are designed, those of us who run businesses are designed to be entrepreneurs. The majority of us are not running charities, we're running business. And what that means is that we are designed in a certain way that we serve others through our gifts. We are designed to add value to the lives of other people through our gifts. And in the human world, in the third dimensional human world that we are also very much a part of and that we've chosen, money is how we assign value. It's exactly how we assign value. And that means that if you've been designed to be an entrepreneur and run a business, you have a responsibility to show up and add value to the lives of other people through your gifts. And interestingly enough, money, before you spend it, it naturally vibrates at a frequency of responsibility and power. And you have a responsibility to show up and add value to the lives of your clients, to step into that highest, most powerful version of yourself. And that will evolve. And as entrepreneurs, you're designed to take risks. You know, we don't do it the way other people do it. We don't do it the safe way. You chose fear when you decided to become an entrepreneur. And alignment is all about, my definition of alignment is you do you. And we must stay on that path, because the thing about being an entrepreneur that you also can't get away from, lovelies, is the fact that it is a spiritual journey. It is an absolute, like, being an entrepreneur is a spiritual journey, and that's what you've signed up for, and you can't get away from that. And it will have you reflect on how you're meant to show up, what feels right, what feels good, how you're supposed to serve in this strange, crazy world that we're living in. And alignment is you do you. That is the definition of alignment, is you are wired a certain way, and your soul is communicating with you every minute of every day of what alignment actually looks like for you. And there's no room anywhere for obligation and sacrifice. None whatsoever. We are designed for a life of abundance, and there is no room for obligation and sacrifice at that party. None whatsoever.
Liana, would you like to pick up on that? Because I know that you've got to go shortly.
Yeah, I do. Well, first of all, I agree with everyone. And what I want to say to those of you who are listening, and, you know, I say what Karen just said in a little bit of a different way. I say it in one sentence, and that is, not living in all your talents is like spitting into the face of God. And so when you're out there and you're struggling, that struggle should tell you something. Like Karen says, there's no room for all of that at this party. In my world, it's like struggle is the space that is created in order for you to understand where joy lives, right? And if you look at money or beauty or joy or love or health or a man for that matter, as if it was, if you look at money as if it was a lover, if you look at joy as if it was a lover, things come to us when we're in the space of love for ourselves, in alignment for ourselves. You know, nobody wants to be with someone who's a party pooper. Nobody wants to be with someone. So if you're in this space and you feel anxiety or you feel excitement about something that's unknown as an entrepreneur, then know that you're in the right place. You know, I don't call it fear. I call it excitement. I call it the space of, oh my God, I wonder what's going to happen now. Yes. And it's always about stepping into the unknown. And it's always about, you know, keep coming, keep working, keep being there, keep being in a place of wonder. That's the piece that for me is always really important, because wonder keeps curiosity alive, or vice versa. And I think for those of you who are questioning anything, just keep being curious and listen to that still voice and just keep stepping into it. You know, there's nothing woo-woo about any of this. And if you think it's woo-woo, then look out into the world. If there's no one doing what you're doing, maybe there's a reason why you've been given this gift. Maybe there's a reason why only you can birth whatever the idea is, whatever the way the idea shows up. Yes, there's like 50 million people who are giving money advice, yet there's no Karen, you know?
Believe it.
What?
I said, you better believe it.
You better believe that. And that's the truth. And the truth is that self-esteem doesn't come from the belief from other people in you. It comes from self-esteem. So keep going inside and checking your gifts and live in all your talents, because otherwise you're spitting into the face of God. And that's all I got to say. And I have to run. I'm so sorry. It's been absolutely wonderful to be with you. Thank you,
Juliana.
Thank you. I'll see you all again at the next time. Yes. I have no idea how to exit this thing, but I will figure it out. You just talk amongst yourselves, and I'm just going to leave the party.
Okay. Thank you.
Sweetie. Love, love, love.
Bye.
Alison, would you like to pick up?
Yeah, I just wanted to say a couple of things. I think Karen and Liana really elaborated beautifully about this journey that we're all on, and that for those of you that are watching, we're all doing this together. We're all learning as we go. And yes, we have success in our chosen fields. Are we where we want to be? No, we're growing too. We're doing it just like you are. Maybe we've been doing it a little bit longer. And I think, what was said is that abundance is our divine birthright. There's enough for everyone to go around, and you're creating your reality every moment of the day. And if you bump up against fear and worry and doubt, it's showing you something that you need to let go of. And that's okay. We've all had to do that too, and continue to do that. It's a continual letting go of things that no longer serve, to make space for what it is that you want in your life, what you want more of in your life. And it is your divine birthright. You get to create it any way you want it. So aim for the stars. Go for the stars. If you fall a little bit short, you're going to be a lot further than where you are right now. So go for it. We're here to support you in any way we can, and love you and cheer you on. Woohoo! We got it.
Thank you, Alison. And you mentioned that we are here to support you. We really are here to support you. We are, all of my posse, who are almost 12, are in every single issue of the House of Preeminence, and we embrace the woo, and we embrace every single subject that women love. We embrace style, we embrace relationships, we embrace our bodies, we embrace money, we embrace our businesses, we embrace our spouses, we embrace our planet, we embrace everything in this magazine in this holistic way. We also, the URL is running across the bottom of the screen right now. You can sign yourself, you can find this jenny-p.com/magazine and sign up for your free monthly copy. It is entirely free. Don't let that put you off the fact that it's free. It is absolutely outstanding with this quality of wisdom and beauty and high vibrational content and pictures, and it is totally glorious. And we have many other ways to bring you on board as well as supporting you and championing you. There are free resources in there from all of my posse, and on our Facebook group, which is Preeminence Rising. You can find Preeminence Rising, or just find me, Jenny Parker Brown. We are actually we've actually just reopened the Facebook group, and we are actually starting to experiment and play with some of this work. We'll be having different quests and different topics to play with. Every single topic and every single quest that we do will be to help you and champion you and support you live your highest life. And we are kicking off this November, this very month, with Karen, with a money alignment quest. We thought that would be a really juicy one to get everybody going. So there's a little, she's dropped a few nuggets in here tonight. What we're going to be talking about. I'm going to give you 1 minute just to talk about it, Karen.
Okay, well, I'm introducing you over in the Facebook group to the Not So Fab Four, and they are the dysfunctional family when it comes to creating wealth, alignment, abundance. You do not want these guys at your party. And over the coming weeks, we are going to dive in and explore each one of these four not so fabulous guys and why we need to uninvite them from our lives, from our businesses, and hopefully not just give you reasons and tools of how you're going to do that. But what I really want to be able to do is really explain and ground in the energetics, the language, of how you're broadcasting to the universe when you're choosing these energies in your life. So it really is a training, because I really want you to go away at the end of this quest in 4 weeks' time and have a whole, like, we're just going to turn everything on its head in terms of how you think about doing obligation, doing sacrifice. And then there's resentment and guilt as well. And those 4 guys, you want to get them away from your experience as much as possible. You want to be really aware of when they show up and how they show up, and how you're going to be navigating through that little minefield so that you can vibrate at a frequency of freedom, empowerment, self-love, and expansion.
Thank you. So I did promise you that we would involve you. There are many, many ways that you can get involved. So join the most incredible, not just magazine, but women's new feminine education platform on the planet, and our Facebook group. We are live every Wednesday across social media with all sorts of topics to help you. So thank you. If you have watched this, if you're watching the replay, please comment underneath, ask any questions that you want to. And thank you for being here. We've got your back. We are always in service to your genius, your grace, and your greatness. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.